In a noticeable change in approach, the cruise lines in the United States have shifted into attack mode after 6 months of, in public anyway, staying quiet and professing a cooperative relationship with the US CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The timing is significant as in the next 10 days at the time of recording, the CDC public consultation on the return of cruising ends. That's on September the 21st. And importantly, the no-sell order is due to expire on the 30th of September. From what I'm seeing, signs suggest that everyone expects that to be extended. But it looks like the lines are pinning their hopes of being able to get agreement to start sailing in November. I think that what we're seeing, this new line of attack, is them ramping up the pressure to get a shorter extension and agreement to review proposals much quicker. Carnival, for example, they updated their website with new sailings for November. But first, let's take a look at what the lines have said in this new approach and new attack. The heads of the 4 biggest cruise lines operating out of US ports, so that's Carnival Corporation, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Group, and MSC Cruises. They attended a virtual meeting which was hosted by the Miami-Dade Tourism and Ports Committee on September the 10th, and this was about discussing the opening plan for cruise lines. And here is what they said. Let's start with the most conciliatory. That was Arnold Donald, President and CEO of the Carnival Corporation. So that's lines like Continental America, Seabourn, Princess, and so on. What he said is, we are totally committed to working with the CDC. We've been working non-stop to develop science-based COVID-19 protocols to be sure the cruise industry can handle the risks without any burden on local resources. So he was the most conciliatory. MSC Cruises took a slightly more assertive approach, and they argued quite strongly there are proof that protocols can work based on what's happening in Europe. Now, Rick Sasso, he's the chairman of MSC Cruises USA, and he said, and I quote, "Our experience to date shows that cruising can be done safely, that we're going above and beyond the required standards." He said that guests are enjoying cruises and the protocols are working. So he argues that there are protocols proven that cruising can work. They just have to be applied. Now we get to even more assertive and outspoken. The most outspoken of all was Norwegian Cruise Lines, and that was Frank Del Rio, who's the president and CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. That, remember, includes Oceania and Regent Seven Seas. What he said is, we've been quiet for too long. It's unconscionable what's happened to the cruise industry, and I quote, "Enough is enough." He said he's absolutely confident it will be safe to cruise from the United States, just as those lines are doing in Europe. Royal Caribbean, what did they have to say? Well, the Royal Caribbean International President and CEO, he's a man called Michael Bailey, and he said, and I quote, "It's time that the cruise industry returned to service and we're ready." However, saying that, he did admit that the joint Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Healthy Sailing Panel, which has been going for 5 months, hasn't actually finished their proposals, and he admitted that they haven't even submitted proposals on the protocols to reintroduce cruising out of the United States. So what I think this strong words that all the cruise lines are making is it's a plea for the CDC to be open to cruising starting, and very importantly, to respond quickly once those proposals are in place. What's important is the meeting discussed what had happened so far. They pointed out, first of all, that other industries have been allowed to reopen in phases, but the cruise industry has been totally shut down. And what they're saying is, let's take a look at a phased return. They also pointed out the CDC have been particularly slow with cruise lines. So the CDC in April, they said at this meeting, gave them 7 days to come up with a layup plan. They did it, they gave them the plan, but the CDC took 14 weeks to respond to the plan. And what they are arguing at this meeting is they cannot wait another 14 weeks or a long time from the CDC. I think the reason we're seeing this assertive push and the cruise lines, after 5 or 6 months of basically making no negative comments toward the CDC, are ramping up the pressure for 2 reasons. One of which, they are ready to submit a plan which has been worked with experts, and Europe shows that protocols, when put in place and adhered to, appear to be working. And secondly, they are making it very clear that they need to have engagement and fast commentary and fast decisions from the CDC. I do think that we will see the extension of cruising beyond the end of September. The cruise lines admit that they're not even submitting proposals until the end of September. So I think we will see that happening. But the cruise lines are on the attack. They're on the march. They're looking for a quick response, a fast response, and return to cruising before Christmas. What do you think? I think it's very clear the cruise lines are ratcheting up the pressure. I have loads more cruise updates and information, so why don't you watch another one of those now. And remember, subscribe to the channel and get alerted when new updates come out.